Hey, I think I'm gonna start doing more vlogs. You guys make a hell of a group of psychiatrists or psychologists or whoever those people are that work on other people's minds, help them work through stuff. It's not that like I'm going through, but a lot of people may have taken yesterday's video as, man, Z's hurting, and I'm not hurting, like not financially or anything like that. It's not like I'm like, man, if things don't pick up, I'm gonna have to go to work. It's nothing like that. It's just it's frustrating when you take so much pride in something that you do and it doesn't work out for you. But I think you guys gave me a lot of I don't know, y'all gave me a lot of insight on what I may have lost touch with along the way in trying to figure out this whole thing that's been troubling me. Um, I don't know why my eyes are doing this. This makes me look overly concerned. um, I'm not frustrated anymore. Like I have a lot of yesterday was really was it is the word I'm looking for introspective, like when you analyze stuff that you're thinking about based on what people remind you about, and you figure stuff out. A lot of that I did yesterday. So I gotta say it was quite therapeutic to get some constructive criticism. A lot of times when I respond to comments or when I see comments on a lot of videos, I take it personally. I'm like, rah, rah, they don't know what they're talking about. Rah, I'm the YouTuber and they're the audience. And honestly, I think that's a bad way to look at it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of it. You could probably read through the comments and see yourself that that there's a ton of bad advice on there too. But in truth, I think there is it's important to kind of sift through that and dissect the good from the bad, not just the kind that you want to hear or that you don't want to hear, but just the good solid points that people make, and why they may be valid. So to start off by saying, if I didn't say it already, thank y'all for that yesterday. That the response was pretty overwhelming, actually. It's not that I got like an exceptional amount of views on it or whatever, but the amount of comments on it was like, it was crazy. And it's not, I don't think that people just pitied me so they made a comment. I think a lot of people have an opinion on this, and it's important to them, both for my sanity and what they watch coming from me, that I kind of listen to some of that. And that's what I did the video for in the first place, is to get some insight in what might be going wrong and to vent, which it did help. Like, when you have a problem and you want to talk about it, I think most of what it is, if it would have been in a live engagement format, I don't think I would have gotten nearly as much out of it. Like, if I was one-on-one with everybody that had an opinion yesterday, I don't think I would have got as much out of it. I think I would have got a lot more experience out of it, but I don't think I would have got as much insight being able to just like read through and sift through and really figure out what people were trying to tell me. So to kind of go over some of the points, I highlighted them. I've got some written down so I can talk about them. A bunch of, unanimously, people want to see better games, I think. So I'll tell you a little story. This is the vlog is going to be long, by the way. I'll tell you a little story about the way I pick games. A while back, when I decided that I wanted to kind of pull away from Ark, or even before that, before I decided that I wanted to pull away from Ark, but when I wanted to start doing more variety on my channel, somewhere between Minecraft and Ark, I think, I started talking with YouTubers that did variety content. A good buddy of mine, which has been an inspiration and a shining beacon of success in the industry, named Blitzkriegsler, taught me a lot about how to make videos be seen by people, with search functions on YouTube and things of that nature. How to write metadata, how to tag appropriately, and what to do with titles, and a little bit of that kind of got pushed in with what I wanted, like my agendas. So the result was the product that you see today, and it's the really, really, really analytical, like algorithmically recognizable titles, instead of just flavorful titles. And I think I need to pay attention to that, but as well as keep some of it. So maybe my titles would be a little bit more readable, so to speak. But that's not really where I want to even go with this this topic. I'm kind of getting off track here, but I really started honing in on the mechanical aspect of the search algorithm and paying less attention to what I wanted to play. Now, it's still really important because, first of all, until you play a game, you don't really know it. Second of all, when you reach out to a developer to play the game, and once you get it, you don't owe them anything because it's not a deal that you negotiate to be able to get that key. You know, it's not like in turn I will produce a video with it, but it's kind of like a given rule. Unless the game's really bad or I don't want to play it at all on my channel or I wouldn't recommend it to you guys, I usually play it. At least if it's for one, you know. And I like discovering new series and showing discovering new games and showing you guys those games and creating series from them if they're pretty good. Or if they do well, which is something else that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But games that people want to see, I think a lot of it has to do with graphics, which I would have never thought would be a thing. I guess maybe because I'm old school and I grew up on like Nintendo and 8-bit and stuff. A lot of that is semi-nostalgic for me. So when I see pixel graphics and stuff, which some of the art styles I really love, and some of it really doesn't stop at like Kingdom. Kingdom was a huge hit on my channel. Not only just my channel, but it was a great game altogether, and it was pixel graphics. So it doesn't have to be beautiful to be a good game. I guess it's just how I convey it, which is part of it. But it still needs to have a pretty face, you know what I mean? So I think I'm going to take that into consideration. I guess it should be like Pixel Privateers, for instance. I couldn't make a good thumbnail with it. I think that was a good a good sign that it was probably going to be pretty hard to convince people that it was a fun game to play. Even though it was. I had a lot of fun with Joker on that. That was one of those collaborative projects that you guys have said that I should do more of. And people just didn't tend to, and I thought we really shined in that one. But anyway, so fun factor is going to be a big portion for me going forward. Something that I really want to play, but it has to be a balance. It can't just be about fun factor. A lot of you guys would probably argue with that, saying just do what you want to do, Z, or just do what's fun, or we want to watch you have fun, and there's a lot of truth in that. But there's a lot of games that I play that I do really enjoy that you guys don't. So that's not the only answer. And fun for me is also having a video be semi-successful, a series be semi-successful. Dragon Quest Builders was a great example of that. I thought Dragon Quest Builders was going to be a lot bigger than it was. After about 35 episodes of it, when it wasn't doing so hot anymore, and I was losing interest, it was very, very hard to keep that series around. But I was so deep into it that I figured that I wanted to do completion. Which is another thing I'm going to start doing, is kind of giving some closure to a series. Even if it's a 3-minute video explaining why, I'm going to give you guys closure. I'm going to try to avoid very story-based games so that you guys don't get involved in a plot and me just cut it off. Like, I'm just going to stop reading the book for you guys, you know? Hopefully that works. So maybe more open-ended games. Going into that, I think I'm going to start doing polls. This was suggested in the comments a few times yesterday. I think I'm going to start doing polls on a weekly basis or every other week or something like that, with a few games that I may have on my radar that you guys might want to see that you can investigate. Also, games that I want to play, instead of committing time to them before I even check with you guys to see if you like them, I might start doing polls for them. I don't know. I've already kind of started going on a path that doesn't involve that poll. But I'm kind of preparing for PAX right now, so I got to do a few things just to give you guys something to watch, and so my channel stays active, you know. So that's kind of the hard thing with variety too, is looking for games to do while you're going to be on somewhere. Like, this is kind of a daily activity. I'll wake up every day, drink my cup of coffee, look through Steam, look through some other game websites, making sure that I know what I'm going to put out, or at least I get an idea of what I'll put out. it's kind of hard to do that sometimes. So an anchor series will be good. We'll get to that in a moment, though. So back to the games that I want to play. I think kind of running with the whole anchor series idea, and the creative outlet that people want to see me be able to do something that isn't necessarily just a linear game that I'm just narrating. I think I'm going to start picking up with an MMORPG. I don't know if it's going to be daily. I don't know if it's going to be every other day. I don't know if I'm going to sift between a couple of them. I know I'm already playing Star Wars Galaxies. That's a bad example for graphics right there. A lot of people are like, man, that game looks rough. Drax can't believe it. Drax is like, the game is so ugly. And it's got some dated graphics, I'm not going to lie. But I'd like the MMORPGs that are available right now to play that, in my opinion, are worth playing. Or Elder Scrolls Online and Final Fantasy 14. They both have very active populations. They're both very pretty to look at. And I think Final Fantasy 14 is going to be the answer for that. I don't think Elder Scrolls has enough playability. Well, I don't know. Out of the two, I have to pick one, and Final Fantasy is much more nostalgic for me. So I haven't played Elder Scrolls Online in so long, and I didn't play it long at first either. But I do know that I really, really missed Final Fantasy when I picked it up and started playing it again. So I think I'm going to play that a little bit. And I'm going to go through the very, very basics, 10 episodes or so, and see how it does, But I'm going to relive the nostalgia. If you guys want to join me, that's cool. And I'll try to pick up more creative games. On those polls, that's what I'm going to try. I think people love to see my personality and the things that I do and my creative process and the way I think, and not necessarily just base building. I think that's why a lot of people honed in on this yesterday. I think that's why people really like the Oxygen Not Included series, and why a lot of people still like RimWorld, even though there wasn't a whole lot of people that watched RimWorld. The people that did watch RimWorld really, really loved it. I think it's one of my better series too, is because I got to do things the way I wanted to do them, not the way they were written. So I think a lot of people really, really like that. So the problem with long-running series too is that I get bored with them, or you guys get bored with them, and I'm already stuck into a series. So I haven't figured that out quite yet, how I'm going to handle that, but I will try to get some sort of anchor-based series. I can't promise you're going to like it. I can't promise you it's not going to be an MMO. It's probably not going to be a survival game, because grinding resources off camera is one of those things. Maybe I could stream stuff like that. I don't know. But there's no survival games I really want to play right now, except maybe Subnautica. A lot of people tend to like Subnautica, but I'll be honest with you. I'd bought Subnautica before when I got my VR headset a little while back, and it didn't do what I wanted to VR, but I didn't have enough interest in it to play it back then, and I still don't know if I want to play it now. The whole swimming thing just got to me. I know there's stuff on land now too, but it was just too much water for me. Even though it's pretty interesting, it's just too much water for me. So, the group dynamic that people keep asking about. Okay, so this is complicated to go over. All right, so I'm going to try to do my best to explain some of this. Collabs are complicated, y'all. They really are. First of all, you have to schedule them, and full-time YouTubers are pretty much the only people that have wide open schedules that are very easy to do this with. Okay. The problem with most full-time YouTubers, except for a few of the friends that you see me doing collabs with here and there, are we all kind of have dominating personalities. I know I do. And, I mean, you guys saw all the Pooping Evolve stuff. Everybody has a pretty dynamic personality. And those things tend to climb over each other. And people change, too. So some of the personalities that you've seen in the past are much more dominating than they used to be. And if you can't... For instance, intros. Everybody likes to do their own intro, right? Well, you can either do separate intros or you can do group intros. It's always something that comes up in collabs. It's funny, Two YouTubers get together and they're like, well, how do you do your intro? Or what do you want to do? You want to do separate intros? You want to do an intro together? What's that? And I used to be always flexible with that, but some people look for that branding. And if you can't do that naturally, it becomes a little bit more programmed, and it's just weird. So I think a lot of the dynamic that I love between some of the people that I've collabed with are when things just work naturally, and that's why I collab so much with Drax. Some people might not like Drax. I love him. Some people might not like me in Drax's videos, but he loves me. So, XB Crafted, for instance, man, I love collabing with XB. We've been collabing for a long time. Those are two personalities that just mesh well with me. Nothing too dominating, nothing overbearing, nothing real complicated about it. They just work. So I think that's a big portion of the problem. So a lot of what you guys like to see, either I'm not interested in collabing with a lot of people, or they're not interested in collabing with me. So you might say, man, you and H2O Delirious should do. I don't even know H2O, and he doesn't know who I am either. So, there's going to be people that you'd like to see me hang out with that just isn't a thing. I guess I could reach out to him or whatever, but it's kind of awkward. Me and Gray did a couple collabs together a while back. Gray still plays, and I love Gray. I love Gray's stuff. But our viewpoints on the collab were just way different. I don't think my audience took very well to him, which is unfortunate because I liked Gray. But anyway, so that's a thing. So it's more complicated than it seems sometimes to just start doing collabs. Last but not least, there's so many comments about this language. So let me talk about the little process. And the video is not going to be that much longer, I promise you. Let me talk about the initial process of going into my non-PG channel, okay, where I can actually curse and things like that. So after 2 years or 3 years of doing YouTube and not saying one foul word on the internet, I got programmed, okay? So it went to, I got into this mindset to where if I wanted to be able to start cursing on my channels, I just had to do it. And a lot of what people say is like, it sounded forced, it sounded fake. The idea behind it is, most of the time when it sounds unnatural is when my mind almost like retracted from actually saying the word, because I'm so used to censoring myself to when I didn't. I think I got a little out of hand and I started doing it too much. And I went mostly for comedic factor with a lot of that stuff. But I will try to regulate it moving forward. I will. I think a lot of people made a point clear to where there's no adults that's going to unsubscribe because I don't curse enough. And that's like the smartest thing I've ever heard in my life. It really is. So, and it actually takes a lot of pressure off of me. So I'm going to try to just do things a little bit more naturally, you guys. I'm going to slow down in games. I'm going to try to do things for effect, but to entertain you guys. But at the same time, I'm going to try not to go overboard with anything to where it doesn't feel like it's forced. Some of this is forced though, like not forced, but if you want an idea what Zueljin is like outside of like the YouTube videos that you see, go watch some of my first videos. It was so bad. My Minecraft stuff was so bad. I was like, hey, I want to do some commentary today. It was just weird. It was awkward, okay? But now it's a lot more natural what comes out of me, and if I'm not trying so hard, or when I'm in a group dynamic, I think that's what people like. So I'm going to try to hone in on that a little bit more, and try not to go so overboard with it. I hope that made sense. So yeah, what I'm going to do too, in the description of this video, I'm going to put a poll, okay? Just with a few ideas of games. And I want you guys to respond to it. I think it'll be the easiest way to do it. I guess it's just going to be a straw poll. It'll be easy that way. And I'm going to start doing more vlogs like this, but more talking about games and stuff. It's not going to be all, psychology or psychiatry. It's not going to be an office visit for me and you, It's not going to be like that. But yeah, so just to, because every video that I do like this needs to end with something, on some positive notes, some business stuff, okay? So if you don't want to hear any more about like I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's a few things that we need to cover. First of all, I just got a new merch store set up. The people over at Teespring hit me up and was like, "Hey, we noticed your merch kind of sucks. You want some new stuff? You want us to help you with some designs?" I was like, "Yeah." So I got like coffee mugs, stickers, and hoodies and shirts, both for girls and boys, and there's a few colors available. So that link will be in the description if you guys want to check it out. It's pretty sexy stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Second thing is I am going to PAX East in Boston. I think it's in a few days now. But if you guys are going, make sure to holler at me when you're over there. I am going to be doing some sort of meetup, or maybe multiple meetups. So just make sure to follow me on Twitter if you don't, because that's how I'm probably going to be communicating with people. And last but not least, I think I had mentioned this already. I'm going to do more vlogs. I'm going to do some more vlogs. I'm going to try to do some very regularly. So don't get discouraged. I'm not going to be a vlog channel. You know, if you're into gaming, and I'm not doing my own channel just for vlogs because they're never going to get seen. I just know how that works. But it's not going to be like a daily thing or whatever. But I'm going to do some more. So expect that. And they're going to be kind of like unformatted like this, but I'm going to talk about a few games that I might want to play and stuff, and maybe some deals on scheduling. But yeah, I think that's it, you guys. So thanks. I appreciate you. Y'all did subs do about it good. Y'all did good for me yesterday. Thank y'all so much. So that's it. I'm out. Peace.